I was like, give me the piece then. So yeah, they tattooed swastika on my arm. Like these little kids in a slum that have got no idea about Adolf Hitler tattooed what they thought, and everyone's like, "You a Nazi?" I'm like, dude, I could not be further from a fucking Nazi.
Right, welcome back. I've got a part 2 with Mr. Ben Eine. Thank you very much, sir, for giving up your time once again, and it's an absolute honour.
Round 2.
Round 2.
You know when Henry Cooper knocked out Muhammad Ali?
Yes, I do.
Be prepared.
Right, can I just start with the I was going to say obvious, it's not obvious, but the T-shirt, Fuck Boris. Is that one of yours? And
So we made this T-shirt, myself and our types, like the people that I work with. And we've got this friend called Johnny, or I've got a friend called Johnny, and he runs a company called Sports Banger, and they are basically raving bootleggers.
What's that mean, raving bootleggers?
They go to raves and they bootleg things.
Okay, well, what is bootlegging?
So bootlegging is ripping something off and selling it in a market.
Okay.
So I was on a plane. I got introduced to Sports Banger. I was on a plane coming back from New York, and I'd been to some hot dog stall with Martha Cooper. And Martha Cooper, a famous photographer, bought me a T-shirt so I could wear this T-shirt in a photograph. And we're in like Stansted Airport, and we're going through, and like the guy that I was with was like so drunk he's on my trolley. And I saw this dude in front of me, and he had a T-shirt that said Reebok, but it was printed upside down. And I was like, dude, where did you get that from? And he's like, my name's like whatever, the hot dog stand that I was wearing my T-shirt. So I was like, let's swap T-shirts. And the T-shirt was from Johnny Sportsbanger. And he now has this quite successful label where he just rips things off. So he's just done a T-shirt that says Absolute Banger. So he's ripped off the Absolute Vodka logo, printed it upside down, and it says Absolute Banger. And they're ravers, and the whole concept behind these things is, fuck them, wait until we get a cease and desist and rip them off. But he prints them on like the worst quality T-shirts, and like they're crap. But there's definitely a following behind like his idea, but also he puts on like these free raves and does these parties and like so like he reinvests and he supports like his local community, and you know, he doesn't get his shit printed in like Portugal, he gets it printed in Tottenham.
Yeah.
So anyway,
he's all about supporting the community and stuff.
So anyway, Johnny did a Fuck Boris T-shirt, and we fucked off a bootlegger. We bootlegged a bootlegger that did it in my front.
Yeah. So this brings me on to what we were saying just off air. Are you still doing your merchandise and stuff?
Yeah, we just did a T-shirt that said Taliban Hill Fighters.
I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah, and nobody liked it, so...
I liked it.
Yeah, okay, we'll make you one. So, I wanted this T-shirt. It's like the Tommy Hilfiger logo, and it said Taliban Hill Fighters, and on the back was the Taliban World Tour. And like the Stussy World Tour T-shirts, it listed everywhere the Taliban have bombed in the last 20 years. Which, in my mind, was slightly amusing and slightly ironic that... So, when the Taliban took over, you know, or took back over Afghanistan, I saw this video, and it was the Taliban with like AK-47s dancing to the Boys Are Back in Town, and I was like, that's so good. We wasted literally $200 trillion, killed loads of soldiers, loads of amputees, and fast forward 20 years, we are literally in a worse position than when we invaded. Like, nothing's happened. There needs to be a conversation.
Absolutely.
I disagree with the majority of the things that they do. However, because of sanctions and financial incentives, I believe that there's a possibility of changing the way that the Taliban or that mentality thinks, and there's a possibility to make something better.
I agree. Do you know what? I wasn't going to ask you this, but just as the conversation's going, I feel like when I speak to business people or people that got these big brands, they're very, very political when they answer sort of stuff, or they steer away from certain things. But with you, I feel like you're very, very transparent and you're very, very black and white. I hope I got that right. So we're talking about, what's going on in, Afghanistan, etc., and what's happened over the last 20 years and the waste and the deaths and people dying and people being hurt, etc. What about what's happened in the last 12, 18, 24 months over here and all the West, pretty much around the world with COVID-19? What's your view on it, Ben?
I think I had COVID, hopefully. I've been double vaccinated. I think COVID is something that's going to mutate, continue to grow, and it's something that we're going to have to live with.
I agree on that.
As a government, I think they managed it incredibly badly. However, we are one of the countries in whatever world that's been most vaccinated, which I think is incredibly forward-thinking. I don't think the vaccination is the solution to this problem. I think it's something we're going to have to deal with. And I also think maybe Mother Nature is coming back and going, fuck you, you horrible virus. You've ruined my planet. Now I'm going to fuck you. There's too many people on the planet, so...
Too much pollution.
No, too many people. And I think we are a pollution.
Yeah, I mean, with the way we treat each other and also nature is horrendous.
Yeah.
Do you agree on, and not that I want to turn this into a political conversation, but do you agree with, the lockdowns and how people's mental health has gone out of control?
Lockdowns have helped and assisted in containing COVID, and I know my mental health personally has suffered because I had a flat, I lived on my own, I didn't really go out apart from to go to the shop or get a delivery or something, and I was on my own for months. So yeah, for people's mental health, it's been horrific. Just the inability to actually be able to talk and communicate with people unless you're on WhatsApp or Zoom. But then I also think, the way that work and how businesses have restructured themselves, and now, no one's ever going to wear a suit to an office again.
Yeah.
They're going to wear what they want, and most people are going to work from home 2 days a week. I think that's encouraging, and I think that's going to kind of help. And also, because COVID's still here, it's people are restructuring how they work and when they work, and you're never going to get on a train again where it's rammed, that much rammed. So... But I also think, that's going to be detrimental for the City of London, because London, exists and vibrates on the fact that people come in here or want to be here. And if you could do this from somewhere else, remotely, then, maybe that's going to affect London. But, we evolve and we change, and London will evolve, London will change.
Yeah. So you personally, I know that the downside to lockdown is obviously being on your own, not interacting with people, maybe not going out for long walks, etc., and getting fresh air. But then there is a silver lining, which you kind of alluded to, which is people restructuring. But do you come up with new concepts for your art, or new projects, or think about new collaborations?
We sold a load of face masks.
Good.
No, of course you do. Like, you think of something new to do, and it's like people aren't going to art galleries, so you do something interesting, and it's like, at the time it was like, yeah, let's make some face masks.
You've got to pivot, haven't you, in these times?
Or you just sit there.
Yeah.
And do nothing.
Some people get, high, drunk, start eating crap food, or some people become very creative and they become very successful.
I signed up to Pornhub.
Me too. Well, I've actually come off it now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yes, in case you're listening.
Too expensive. And they're getting pretty sore. Yeah. I'm only joking, disclaimer.
I've got calluses.
Look at mine. Look, they're bleeding even now. I just had a fresh one. Something I didn't ask you last time. So Ben Eine I don't think is actually your birth name. It's Benjamin Flynn. Why did you call yourself Ben Eine as a kind of a stage name?
Stage name's a weird concept, isn't it?
An artist name.
Yes, I prefer that. So I had a tag, and it didn't fit this area that I wanted to write my name on at a certain time in a certain place, and I'd been nicked a few times for like some other names, so I couldn't write those. So lots of people were writing Cherish One or Cherish Ism. So I started writing one, and then different versions of the word one. So Una and Ein fitted this space that I wanted to write my name on at a certain time in a certain place. And then when I kind of stopped graffiti, Ben Eine.
Just made sense.
Yeah, it kind of made sense.
Yeah. I was going to comment last time as well, but we were a little bit strapped for time. Your tattoos are amazing. So over the years, when did you start getting your tattoos, and what is your favourite one?
So I had these friends called Charlie Shazer and Jason Saga. Jason, rest in peace, no longer with us, but they were both like world domination graffiti writers. Amazing. Charlie went on to open a tattoo shop called Kids Love Inc. He had one just off Brick Lane, and then I think he still got one in Peckham. He definitely tattooed something. Anyway, so I'd been nicked for tagging. So when you get nicked, you're on bail. And I was always one of these good boys that was like, well, if I've been nicked, then I'm not going to get nicked again for tagging, because there's a big chance of happening. So I chatted to Jason and Charlie, and they had this weird little flat in Mornington Crescent. And I went round there, and I had my original tag tattooed on my arm.
Okay. So
that was my first tattoo. And then my second tattoo was, I met this dude called Duncan X, who used to tattoo in a tattoo spot in Clerkenwell. He now tattoos in Shoreditch with Ian Spinks or something. Anyway, they concentrate on like black tattoos.
Okay. Black and white.
Yeah. So, but pretty much all of my tattoos are black and white. So, yeah. So Duncan X did the stars up my arms.
And how many years ago was that?
I don't know, like 102.
Well, the reason why I say that is because, like, nowadays, I can always tell when, like, there's like an old school type of method or ink with the tattoos because they're normally a lot thicker, the lines. And then as time has gone on, it seems like they got thinner, the tattoos.
Yeah, they have, but I don't think that's a bad thing because, like...
I like the old school. I think it's cool.
I got this friend called Word to Mother, and, like, again, like I hang out with people that are learning to do tattoos, and like, can I tattoo you? And I'm like, yeah, of course you can. Like, I don't actually care. So Word did this thing on me, and it was like nonsense. We found it in an old book. And then Word started drawing and doing something, and he did a tattoo on my leg. And it's a crocodile with a glass of, not a margarita, a cocktail and a cigar. And I was like, dude, you need to make that thinner. And then he tattooed my storm in a teacup there.
Yeah.
And that's Word style now. So it kind of took Word, like, I don't know, 7-8 years to find his style, or to find his pin, to find the needle that worked well with the art that he makes and how he wants to tattoo it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to have been Word's monkey.
I didn't notice that one last time on the palm of your hand. So I interviewed probably about a month ago now. Risk, do you know him, the artist?
Risk, LA Risk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, really lovely guy. He's also got some stuff on the palm of his hand, and that was the first time I've ever seen tattoos on someone's hands. And then you've got it. Did that bloody hurt?
It didn't bloody hurt as much as I thought it was going to bloody hurt. Yeah, no, I got them done the other day. I got this friend called Prison Style Tim.
Okay.
And, like, he's done a few things on me. And he's an amazing character. And I've wanted the palms done. So I have this thing where basically a square is a circle with less corners.
Okay.
So it's my birthday the other day.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy 30th.
Yeah, well, actually 41st, but whatever. And then Tim turned up, like, surprisingly. He happened to be in London. And then he had, like, he does stick and poke. And he was like, yeah, come round. I'll tattoo you. What do you want? So I basically drew a square and a circle, and I was like that. And he was like, that shit. And I was like, just do it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it didn't hurt anywhere near as much as I thought it would. But Tim's a really good tattoo artist.
Yeah. Running up your arm is the peace sign, yeah? But people know that as a swastika, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm not an historian, I don't know loads about it, but I do know there's a misconception that people see that sign and they think it means something else, but actually it's to do with peace. Do you know a bit more about that than I do?
So basically, I collect like holiday tattoos.
Yeah.
And if I go to a country, I like getting a tattoo. So I've got a tattoo from Colombia, Japan, Moscow, Mexico, fucking everywhere. So I was in Madagascar with a friend of mine, and we went to the dirtiest market in Madagascar. It's nothing like the movie at all. And we met these kids that built like prison tattoo guns. They were like cassette machines and like guitar strings and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, this has got AIDS written all over it. But we bought some tattoo machines off of them just because I was so fascinated. So then I was in India, again, in like some slum, like just walking around, like writing names on shit, going somewhere that white people don't go to, and met these kids.
Yeah.
And they were like, do, yo. And it's like, I don't speak, so like, we were chatting. And it was like, yeah, I love your tattoos. We do tattooing. And I'm like, yeah, sweet. I was like, give me the piece of them. So yeah, they tattooed, a swastika on my arm.
Okay.
Like these little kids in a slum that have got no idea about Adolf Hitler tattooed what they thought. And everyone's like, you a Nazi? I'm like, dude, I could not be further from a fucking Nazi if you fucking... Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's just a journey, isn't it? Yeah.
One last thing. So I was going to get a sleeve done by a guy called Jason Butcher in Essex. He specialises in skulls and roses. Absolutely amazing stuff. Big waiting list to get him. and I bottled it twice, and I feel really bad because I let him down. I've got a small tattoo on my back, and that's it. To get something on your arm is quite a big deal, but then to go towards the head area is another level, and I think it really suits you. But when was that transition? Like, when did you say, I'm going to put it more visual up here?
So basically, I don't have a job, per se.
Per se, yeah.
I'm never going to have a job interview, hopefully. I
thought this was one.
Yeah, this is really what make your coffee. So if I ever do have a job interview, it's not going to be based around my tattoos. It's going to be based around what I could possibly do for that company or the ideas that I could bring. So I had a mole on my face, like just there on my cheek, and it was blue. I had this weird blue mole, and everyone thought it was a tattoo. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to turn it into a tattoo. So I had some dots and made it into like a tear tattoo. And then I was in Thailand with Chaz, Himbad, London Police, Bijwa, a load of other people. And we were playing pool with these strippers. And all the strippers had these 4 stars underneath their eyes, like mascara. So I got one of these girls to do the mascara pen underneath my eye. And I was like, I'm just going to the toilet. Ran around the corner and got it tattooed on my face.
Fucking sick.
And then I was in Amsterdam and I had the tattoos on my chin, kind of like inspired by Maori, but it's also the Morse code. So if you read Morse code and you can read my chin, it says, ah. And then I got some stars on my head and then blah, blah, blah.
And what about that, the border? What does that mean?
It literally doesn't mean anything. Like, I like the idea of having a tattoo that you're never going to see again. So I don't want a boxing tattoo. I don't want like a Celtic band.
Okay.
I'd like a tattoo that you'll be like, never going to see that.
Yeah.
Same as like you buy a ring or you buy you buy a jacket. You're like, you want to buy something that you're not going to bump into.
Unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how or why I thought of it, but yeah.
Well, like I said, it definitely suits you. Would you say that getting tattoos is quite addictive?
I'm not sure that being tattooed is addictive. I think once you have a tattoo, you think to yourself, well, I've only got one. I need another one. And then another one. And now I need like a little spider's web here or like a bunch of roses over your head. You know, because you either get no tattoos or you get tattooed.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get tattooed.
Go for it.
And if you're going to get no tattoos, get a job working for Halifax.
Yeah. So as you well know, I do a bit of boxing, and I've had a couple of teeth at the back of my mouth knocked out, and I've actually got a gold tooth. If the camera can see, yeah, I had 2. I had one in the back there, but that's been knocked out, and then I got this gold tooth. But you got one right at the front of your mouth, which again I think really suits you. So how did you come up with the decision to have a gold tooth there? Because mine's different. Mine's because of like boxing. I was meant to get a porcelain one, but they said to me, if you get a porcelain one, it's going to shatter the moment you get a right hook in your mouth. So you might as well get a gold one, but the gold one even got knocked out.
My left hook. Basically, I ate an olive.
And it broke your tooth?
Yeah.
Really?
And it was already like basically, when I was a kid, I jumped into a swimming pool and smashed my front teeth, like banged them on the knocker, so snapped her in half. So I always had like crowns and nonsense. And then I had like some porcelain tooth, and I went to a restaurant with some bird, They brought us out some olives. I bit into an olive. The olive had a stone in it. My tooth went spangled. And I was going to Japan like a week later. So I built up my man, Ken. God. And I was like, Ken, is there anyone, do you know a dentist in Japan that could give me a gold tooth? Because at the moment, I just got like this spike sticking out the front of my face. And he was like, yeah. So I got a gold tooth. Also, I like pirates. And, like, it's a really weird thing. Like, when I go to Chrome and Black, or like, well, pretty much Chrome and Black, and I bump into, like, any old graffiti writer, for some reason, everyone's got gold tooth. Like, I bumped into Mir the other day, he's got a gold tooth. Like, for some reason, graffiti writers think they're like pirates or some kind of Blackbeard, and maybe next time I bump into them, we'll have a parrot on our shoulder. But yeah, that's why I got a gold tooth.
I got a joke about pirates. Why are pirates pirates? Because they are. That's a good one, isn't it? I had to say it. I was itching to say it. So, okay. There's been a few rubbish, wasn't it? I've even got another pirate one, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay, what time does Sean Connery go to Wimbledon?
Not sure.
10ish.
That's actually pretty good. I'm going to nick that. So, I didn't ask you this time. So your style is predominantly, or am I right in saying it's only the text? Why did you start just doing the text, and why have you stuck at doing text? Because a lot of artists have kind of dovetailed and morphed into other styles.
So for me, graffiti is about writing your name on the side of a train and making your name fuck and burn everybody else. So it's about morphing, shaping, exploring how you could choose letters that sit so well with other letters that are your name, and you create something that's no longer a word, it's something in flames that goes, fuck you. Like, I don't give a fuck about B-boy characters on New York skylines. Graffiti is about the letter form and exploring the letter form. So when I kind of got out of graffiti, I wanted to continue that kind of exploration, and I'd always been interested in like screen printing, sign writing, you know, handmade wood printing, you know, exploring something that's handmade, exploring something that's done. Like, I fucking hate computers. I hate Illustrator. Like, you know, Adobe could be the best and the worst thing that's ever invented. But I like handmade things. And I like the fact that you have one shot and you make a mistake. And that mistake could look good or could look worse. And if that mistake looks good, then you're going to continue making that mistake, and you're going to put it in your portfolio of artwork, and your career and your artistic like avenue is going to continue to grow rather than just going Apple, you know, that's nonsense. So yeah, for me as an artist, I just wanted to grow with that. And also, like, you know, I loved like old typography. I loved that bookshop in, you know, Covent Garden, Dover Books. And I just go there and steal so much shit. And then just like read these books like little miniature Bibles and learn about old fonts that grew in Germany in like 16 blah, blah, blah. And back then it didn't have the entire alphabet. So there wasn't a W, there wasn't a J. And just how people create these things. And it was so different to like graffiti. but like completely relevant to what I was trying to do. And also at the time, like everybody hated graffiti, and I wanted to do something that people actually liked. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I kind of concentrated on making like, you know, a happy graffiti that was acceptable.
Yeah.
And by using old typography, you know, the circus font, blah, blah, whatever, you know, it was acceptable. Old ladies like it, young kids like it, you know. I get emails like kids learn their alphabet through like, you know, walking down my streets.
I was going to say, I mean, sorry to state the obvious, it's timeless. Like I believe in 100 years' time, 1,000 years' time, that when people see this work, it's still going to be fucking really, really cool.
Me and the pyramids.
That's it. Yeah. So when you first came here and I was doing a bit more sort of homework and stuff, trying to get the very good best questions is, your text is great. But I think what a lot of people share the same view is the way you choose your colours. I think that's always been quite a USP for you. That's what it seems like on the internet. And also your sayings. So how do you come up with the sayings and how do you come up with the colours?
Tell me not to say Google.
Siri. Yeah, Ben, is it Siri? What am I going to do today?
No, Siri hates me. Yeah.
I've turned it off.
Yeah, I had to. Google 9-letter word. No. So I get the option to paint a wall, and the client, whoever, whether they're paying me or not, whatever, they send me a photograph of the wall that I'm painting and they send me dimensions. And I'm always like, send me a photograph of what looks at the wall. Because the word that I choose is about the people that are going to look at the wall. Like, I'm not fucking advertising. Well, I am. I'm advertising me. But I would also like to make the people that have to walk past it every day, A, feel comfortable, A, feel inspired, and B, take something from it. I'm not going to write, fuck knows, Reese on a wall in, like, Peckham. You know, I want to write something that people actually look to and go, you know, and as an artist, that's kind of what you want to do. Like, one of the reasons why I paint these things is because I want some little kid to sit here in front of you in 20 years' time and go, I saw this wall down, blah, 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 and I don't know who it was, but that's the reason why I did art, and that's the reason why I'm doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Is there anyone you want to collaborate with in the future that you haven't done already?
What's his name? Peter Savile. Yeah, I would love to collaborate with Peter Savile. Peter Savile.
I never know if he's ever being serious or okay.
Peter Savile. I'm going to start.
Who is this Peter Savile?
This is where the lawyers jump in.
Yeah.
So, Peter Savile is a graphic designer that worked or was one of the founder members of Factory Records. So, if you know Joy Division, you know that wavy thing they got. Someone Google something.
Okay. Joy Division,
Peter Savile. Is the creative director for Burberry.
Okay.
Or one of them.
Got it?
It's the wavy things. Joy. D-I... Dude, where'd you find these people? I left school at 15.
I can't
it's
spell
the wavy
either.
thing.
Okay, cool.
So,
Let's have the laptop up here. Yeah.
So, this image was on like that one. So, this is the first recorded sound from space.
Sick.
And Cambridge University, I might be completely wrong, Cambridge University published it in a book. So that is the first ever recorded sound from space. And it was white and black. Ian Curtis, Joy Division, said to Peter Savile, I really like this image. And Peter Savile went, apple eye, and inverted it. And it's one of the most iconic images. I love Peter Savile's simplicity and the way that he thinks through the shit of graphic design and just delivers exactly what the client wants. Anyway, I'm not stalking him. I haven't got an injunction against me.
So he's the only one or anyone else? Yes.
Who else? Like, Delta, Howe and Nosum. I'm going to reel off a load of names that no one's ever heard of. Ochre, Elk, Teach, Howe and Nosum, Delta, JA, Ghost, anyone in Goat Squad, anyone that paints trains.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Anyone that risked their life for the worst art career in the world, I'd take my hat off to.
Nice. The people are authentic.
Yeah, hopefully.
Another question. What kind of inspires you? Like, who inspires you? Or don't you really think about that kind of stuff? You just live day to day and do your own thing?
Traveling inspires me. Talking to people inspires me. I loved, like a few years ago, I was in India. And India, like when you actually travel around India on like a third class train and get off in places that like white people don't go to and no one speaks English. And you go through these towns where you can buy like Tramadol and Oxycontin in like any marketplace. And you see like their interpretation of sign writing because they can't afford printing. So there's this amazing culture of handwritten signage that's so bad, it's literally amazing. And it was so inspiring to see this. And I was just like, you've got it so wrong. It's kind of cool. And I've literally got like hundreds of photos of all this like really shit paint brushes, wooden boards in markets of like sign writing. And then you come back to England and like you look at like J.B. Carter, like the fairground people that like are like proficient in like sign writing and painting, and you look at the comparison and you think, you know, which one do I actually prefer? Kind of think I prefer the shit version. Because mistakes are like amazing.
Mm.
And that's how like people evolve.
Mm. Definitely. It reminds me when I got into sales, when I first got on the phones, because I was doing telephone sales, the owner said to me, because I had to learn a pitch, he said, "You sound a bit punch drunk." And it always we're always in the back of my mind thinking, why did he say that to me? And I probably did sound a bit punch drunk back then. Like I couldn't really string words together. I find it still even hard now, believe it or not. There's certain words that I find very, very difficult to pronounce. But one thing I realised that over time, that rather than trying to put on a posh voice or try and speak in another way or different tone, what is not great about you is actually the best thing about you.
Yeah.
You know? The thing that people think that is a hindrance to you is actually the thing which is unique. And I know that's a bit of a positive spin to have on it, but it is actually the genuine truth.
No, it is. It's the beauty of us being individual.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you referenced something last time, Ben, because, you know, I asked you about when you were younger and you referenced like when we're 30, 40, 50 years of age, are we still going to be doing what we're doing right now? And you are, and you're flourishing. You also referenced that, you're in a great position now where you can make paintings and they're selling for 30, 40,000 pound upwards. Can I ask you, what is the most expensive painting you've ever sold of yours?
No idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't sell my paintings. They all get sold through like a second or third party. So yeah, I've got no idea.
So you're detached from that. But how does it make you feel that you was on the streets and now your paintings are selling for tens of thousands of pounds?
It's an interesting question. Did I choose this career to be an artist, or did I choose this career to be an addict that could pay for his addiction through selling art, or was I actually creative, or did I choose this career because I was lazy and I didn't want to go work and I thought this was like an easy option, or did I choose this career? So yeah, it's a combination of like all those things. I've definitely worked hard, and worked smart and had the best fun in the world. And yeah, I don't know. Basically I had a passion.
Yeah. Okay. And it must make you feel. I know you're not so per se motivated by money. I know that you're more about inspiring. You're more about a legacy, kind of being creative and helping the communities. That's what I get from you. I had an artist on after you called Temper. Don't know if you know him. He's from Wolverhampton, I think, Birmingham way. No, he's just been given a doctor for being a graffiti artist recently, that like literally. And he said this really good quote, which I think is fucking amazing. He said, I'm an artist first, trying to become a human second. And I don't know if that resonates with you, but I feel like that would also suit coming out your mouth as well.
I'm thinking. I think I am somebody with issues that has found a way to survive through being creative.
And if you don't mind me saying, you've gone past that survival to thriving. I mean, this is the next question. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're a very busy man, but if I was to be in your shoes for one day,
you would hate it.
Steve Sully became Ben Eine for one day. What would I expect? What would be happening?
You would hate it. I'd much rather be in your shoes for a day.
Come on, I doubt it.
Trust me.
Look at my calluses, all that Pornhub. It's not a good day. But yeah, seriously,
guarantee. Don't swap with me.
But what would I expect? Like if I were to walk in your shoes for one day, what kind of things you get up to?
Well, first of all, one's going to pick me up, drag me out of bed, give me a cold shower, make me a coffee, egg and bacon sandwich, drive me to a podcast in Soho. And then he's going to give me an injection of steroids. I don't know, like...
Are you inundated with like people like asking for your work, collaborating with you? Or is it not as intense as that? Does it happen every so often?
It's weird, like, you go for a stage where you sell a load of paintings or you do a show... And then you're like, I don't want to be in the studio. I'd rather be travelling around. So now we've got like the next 2 months, like working on big painting projects. And then we've got a show in Switzerland, Vienna, somewhere. So then we'll be back in the studio working on that.
Yeah.
So I'm like... incredibly fortunate that I have the option to do what I kind of want to do when I want to do it. but I also have financial commitments. So I have to consider those financial commitments and, you know, children and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, a lot of the decisions that I make aren't solely based on being an artist. They're being based around, you know, the commitments that I have and the commitments that I try to stand up to.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, we get to do fun shit.
I'm going to buy one of your paintings. I said this off air, and I'm saying it live on here because I'm going to commit on it. I'm not buying it for an investment, but if I were to approach you and someone said to you, Ben, I really like your work and I think I love what it stands for, is it a good investment? What would your answer be to that?
Only buy art if you like it. Don't buy art for an investment. If you like something and you really like it, decide how much you like that piece of artwork and decide whether you can afford to spend that 1,000, 2,500, £5,000. How much do you actually like that piece of art? Do you like it £1,000? Do you like it £5,000? Do you like it £10,000? If you like it that much and you've got the money to do it, buy it, enjoy looking at it, and hopefully it will hang on the wall for the rest of your life. And then when you die, your kids can fight over it.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, it's gone up in some value.
Yeah. Do you have a view if like someone does flip it in, not saying I do, but like 5 or 10 years, is that something you support or something that is completely miles away from your ethics towards art?
I was like, you know, a founder of Pictures and Walls, did the screen printing. We sold prints that people bought for 50 quid and they flipped for £1,000. And the majority of those people reinvested that £1,000 either back in Pictures and Walls or back in artists that were coming through at that time.
Yeah.
Like, no, not many people took that £1,000 and bought a fucking Prius or fucking whatever until it got to like 30 grand and then they put it down as a house. But those people probably still collect art. So we kind of funded and created like an art movement that was probably already there in London, this country, but we made it more possible for people to do that. So flipping shit, you know, like, fuck man, like, you know, like, I don't really sell the art that I've collected and traded with like my friends and the people that I've met over the years. But I'm sure when I die,
some good assets, sir.
I'll be dead, so who gives a fuck?
Well, just remember me with your Keith Haring. I know you got that one.
Yeah.
What are you doing after this podcast now, Ben?
Juan, what are we doing now?
We have a call and then we're going in the rooms event with Della.
And there's a thing in Camden.
Lovely stuff. Well, look, have a great day. I asked you one last question at the end of the last podcast. You gave me a mad answer, and I want to see if you're going to give me the same.
Rolex.
My catchphrase, my mantra in life is be happy, never content. Do you remember what you said to me last time? What was it? Have loads of sex and something else?
No, clean your teeth and have more sex.
That's it. Is it still the same?
I actually cleaned my teeth this morning and had sex.
Bang on, mate. All right.
51, still got it.
Still going, still pumping it out. Thank you very
I've literally still got more teeth than I have sex in a day.
Ben, thank you very much. I was honoured when you first said you'll come on, and then for the second time, I'm thrilled, mate. So really, really thank you.
It was better than it worked out twice, and now.
That's it.
Let's go Stone Island and buy a jacket.
Yeah, look like Eminem.
That's why I had it done.
I actually think that's what reminded me of it straight away. Slim Shady.
The video, MTV Awards, when like 100 M&Ms walk in.
That was bang on, wasn't it?
The real Slim Shady, and I was like, Got that. Literally delusions of grandeur.
Right, thank you very much, and I hope everyone enjoyed this episode, and please subscribe. Thank you.